If you're a high achiever who feels stuck in a job that looks successful on the outside but feels empty on the inside, you're not alone. In this video, you'll discover the real reason why corporate leaders are afraid to quit and stay stuck in a job, even if it's unfulfilling to them. And stay until the end of this video so that you can discover the fastest path to replacing your corporate salary so that you can quit your job whenever you want. So let's dive right in. The first real reason, the first fear that corporate leaders have when quitting is a fear of leaving a secure job. Now, if you're watching me on video, you see the air quotes, secure job. You know what I'm talking about. The big salary, the stock options, the prestige, all of these things that sound great until you realize that they're just a cage dressed as a reward. We think that's what life is about when it's not. Life is about fulfillment, impact, purpose, but yet we find ourselves 10, 15, 20 years into a corporate job with responsibilities. I get it. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a single income household that provides for his family. I understand the pressure. And I want you to know that your spouse, your kids, they don't want you to let another 5 or 10 years go by not loving what you're doing. Why? Because they see it. They feel it. And so when you feel afraid, I get that it feels scary to leave the security of your paycheck. But let's be honest, in the world, the economy that we live in today, is there really security associated with your job? Probably not. And sure, in the beginning of entrepreneurship, it feels unclear. It feels uncertain. It is scary, and it doesn't matter, because when you actually dedicate yourself and decide that you're going to pursue this path, then you actually become the source of your own security. And that's what I want to challenge you with. That's what I want to invite you with to do in this video, is not to play small, not to let another 5 or 10 years go by before making this transition. Because what will happen, and I've seen this over and over and over again with students of ours, is that you'll reach a point in life where it feels too late. And now you'll never know if you could have done it, because you never attempted it, and you'll have that regret. So that's the first big reason why corporate leaders are afraid to quit. The second big reason is the fear of reinvention. I mean, leaving corporate does mean that you're stepping into the unknown, but you've got to also reinvent your entire identity of who you are. Sure, you're not building a totally different business, you're leveraging your expertise, but maybe you've identified as you're a VP or a director or whatever that is. And so all sorts of stuff comes up for us when we make that transition. So notice that you may be reinventing, but you're not building from scratch, right? If you're a 21-year-old life coach, and I say this in some of my videos, then sure, you're building from scratch because you don't have any life experience. But if you're 40, 50, 60 years old, and you're leveraging all of the expertise that you have, you're not really reinventing. You're just positioning it in a different way. Instead of working as an employee in a job, you're now the entrepreneur, the business owner, the coach, the mentor. And that can be far more fulfilling and far more lucrative when done the right way. So just know that I get that there's the fear of leaving the secure job, but there's also the fear of just reinventing yourself at this stage of life. I know this really, really well, because when I started my coaching business, I left a career that I was an expert in. I started my career in investment banking and private equity, and I was making great money doing that, and I was rising, jumping up and going through the corporate ladder. And I'll never forget one day I walked into the office was in the office, and one of my managing directors, one of the partners of the firm, was in the office till like 11 p.m. at night. 11 p.m. is not unusual for us analysts and associates, but for a partner, it was. And this wasn't one night. This was 2 nights, 3 nights, 5 nights, 3 weeks, 2 months, right? It happened over and over and over again. And there was nothing pressing the next day for that partner. There was no pitch. There was no big meeting. He was just in the office late. And I'll never forget, I sat down with him for lunch one day, and I was like, Glenn, hey, I just want to ask you a question. Why are you in the office so late when there's nothing critical that needs to be done? And he said, I'm in the office because I don't want to go home to my family because I've neglected them for so many years. And my heart sank in that moment, because in that moment, I got to see a crystal ball into my future. Sure, I was making great money. I was actually got the biggest bonus as the associate in the associate pool. I was on the fast track to the next level in that company in corporate. And I just saw my future mentor and the life that I would have had to create to get there. And I was unwilling to do it. And it was scary because I had to reinvent myself. My entire identity was about that, about investment banking, about private equity. But when you do that, I can promise you that the freedom, the impact, the fulfillment that you feel from that experience is far greater and far worth it compared to just playing small and staying stuck in that job. The third big reason corporate leaders are afraid to quit is because they lack a proven plan. They don't know where to start. There's a million things that you could be doing to build a coaching business. A lot of them, honestly, are just shiny object distractions. And so you want to, instead of getting new ideas from videos like this, you want a step-by-step roadmap. That's actually one of the things we provide every one of our newest clients. Is when we start by doing a kickoff call, and we map out a 16-week project plan so that they're crystal clear on every project to focus on week 1 through week 16. The reason we start here is to remove distractions and to increase focus so that they implement. So seek out that proven plan. It's critical that you have that, because if you don't, you will get lost, because you're a corporate leader. You're used to the corporate structures where there's team and there's assistants and there's all these people that you delegate to. But when you're a coach, guess what? When you build a business for yourself on your own, you don't have any of that team yet. And so you've got to have a plan to implement, or you could get lost in the process. The fourth big block and fear is the silent identity crisis. I talked a little bit about this around reinvention, but what happens when your whole identity is wrapped up being a vice president or a director? Right? Quitting your job threatens not just your career, it threatens your entire identity, your whole story about yourself. And most people would rather stay stuck than lose who they think they are. So I want you to shift your mindset. Yes, you were a VP, you were a director, you were a C-level executive, and you are so much more than that. And no matter what stage of life you're in, you can create your new identity of who you decide to become. And you can decide it and declare it today. And I don't mean to be on a soapbox cheerleading you here right now. I just want you to know that this is real mindset blocks and limitations that could stop you as a corporate leader. So fall in love with the new identity of yourself, right? As a coach, as an entrepreneur. When you do that, you will be far more successful. The fifth and final reason I see corporate leaders are afraid to quit is because of the fear of failure and what's called imposter syndrome. And this means that despite your expertise, you question whether people will actually pay you for your coaching. Why would somebody pay me? That's the imposter syndrome. Who am I to do this? Sure, I may be a corporate leader. I may be an expert in my company, but what about me going out into this new world of coaching? What about me testing these new skills that I don't have yet around marketing and sales and systems? And so there's fear of failure. And I just want to assure you, you will fail. You will fail over and over and over and over again. I fail all the time in my business, and that's why I'm successful. If you let your fear of failure stop you, you will never take action, and you will play small, and you will stay stuck in a career that's unfulfilling, draining you, causing you to neglect your loved ones, your family, your hobbies. I say this from experience because I get it. If instead you say, you know what, I'm going to leap. I'm going to work with somebody to help me in the journey, and you don't have to work with me, but get somebody to give you a proven plan. Get somebody to hold you accountable to keep you focused, because it is scary building this business. But no, you are already an expert. That's why I'm speaking to corporate leaders. I didn't record this video for an 18-year-old life coach. I recorded it for you. So, right? So we're taking your 15, your 20, your 25 years of experience, and we're building a coaching business around that. So you're not an imposter. Like, you already are an expert. And even if you feel like an imposter, so what? Good. I want you to. Why? Because it means you're outside of your comfort zone. If you don't feel like an imposter, you're playing small, right? If I don't feel like an imposter when I wake up in the day, then what am I doing? I'm just going through the motions of life. I'm getting really passionate in this YouTube video. So that's the fifth thing, is a fear of failure and the imposter syndrome. Now, I promised if you stayed until the end that I would teach you the fastest path to replace your corporate salary. I actually have a video completely dedicated to that. So if you want to accelerate your transition from corporate to coaching, then just comment salary below, and my team will send you the video that maps out the exact roadmap to replace that corporate salary. Before I wrap up, I would just ask for a quick favor. I noticed recently that 71% of you watching this are not subscribed to my channel, which is way too low. Well, actually way too high. So I want to lower that. I want to increase my subscriptions. Do me a favor. If you've gotten value from this, please just click the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. This allows me to share this message with more people, and that way you also will never miss a future video. And if you have decided from this video that it is time for you to make this transition and build a coaching business, but you don't know where to start, then make sure to check out my free online course. It's a playlist on my YouTube channel that teaches you exactly how to start a profitable coaching business and enroll your first paying client in the next 30 days. So click up here in the corner to watch that video. My name is Peter Scott, reminding you to be here, act now, and fear less.